Happy day. It's Madison with Restorative. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for being here. I wanted to talk about a couple of things today, but first and foremost, last week I messed up the two songs that I love by Eminem. So the first one is the one Lose Yourself, obviously, and then the other one is Not Afraid. And I wanted to share that in case anybody was like Eminem, and then they were like, what the just kidding. But I just Googled it, whatever, but I love it because one of the things, and I really identified it with it, says, I'd shoot for the moon, but I'm too busy gazing at stars. I feel amazing, but I'm not. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Everybody, come take my hand. We'll walk this road together through the storm. Whatever weather, cold or warm, just letting you know that you're not alone. Holler if you've been down the same road. Why I love that so much is because, like, really, there's so much going on around us. And it's so funny too because, right, like, we're all supposed to be, how does it go? Individually adding collectively, right? So whatever that is for you is always going to be something different than it is for somebody else. So it's like, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with your story and your journey being yours and not matching others. And I love that even within that you can feel that way and still not walk alone. Because others feel that same way too, just in different ways of that, in different perceptions. So I really wanted to clear that up because I really do love that, those lyrics and that, and there's even more. It goes deeper. It's therapy, right? This music. I mean, goodness, ask Taylor Swift to go through a breakup. I mean, don't go through. I hope she's happy. But when she goes through a breakup, she has another #1 selling hit, right? It's our own life of Telemundo, right? Your tragedy to triumph, right? Like, I haven't heard Kanye's new music, but I will tell you that Through the Wire, that song particularly, super inspirational. And Jesus Walks, like, right? It's so, like, that song that he did is so great too. But I will tell you that we like, I guess that's kind of like the free will of life in essence too, right? Like, we have access to everything around us pretty much. And, like, we know, like, what certain things could lead to, would lead to, or how that's gonna look. With that being said, like, you can see where you can take in, like, maybe I don't listen to all their other music, but I like this. And I'll tell you, for one thing, as much music as I listen to, it's generally the edited version. I have a funny story about that. I was watching a way long time ago a comedy special, and every few moments would go by and there would be this thing that would be like, every day I'm hustling, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like every day I'm hustling. So I had my flip phone Lotus. It was so cool. And that was my ringtone. Anytime somebody would text me, it would be like, every day I'm hustling. I was like, yeah. And then, this was when I lived in Florida, and then one time my cousin came to visit, and he was like, and I got a text message, and he's younger than me. He came to visit, and I got a text message, and it was like, every day I'm hustling. And I felt cool. My cousin's like, dang, I didn't know you listened to that, whoever. I feel bad, I don't know. And I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then one day I heard the unedited version of that song, and I am not hustling. But it doesn't matter sometimes, like, where you get the message is kind of my point on that. Like, with everything else that artists give, or any kind of music they offer, or anybody's talents, whether it be, you know, through their words, their writing, their art, anything. It's up to you to pick out your favorites and what works for you and what feels right and what sounds good and what strikes a note in your chord or your collective consciousness about it. So I really do appreciate I appreciate that. I also very much appreciate edited versions. I'll tell you, I would not know any Nicki Minaj songs if there wasn't the edited version. Yeah, I'm definitely a radio edit. So I wanted to share that because it's like, we can cherry pick all these things. Messages will come to us wherever we're searching. It doesn't matter if you think it's this or that. It's like, what you need will come to you when it's time, right? Okay, so it's important to know that. And then I also wanted to share, really just in my gratitude, because again, we are all just absolute culminations of the things around us, and collectively through our experiences and others. I want to share a few, and I've name dropped a little bit before, but just a few more really that help just navigate it, right? And it's important to share that, like, in that space. Like, I'm not just over here like, you know, thinking of all these things my own, and of course I do put my own joie de vie on it, or how you say, but I'm really just learning from everyone else and growing with it. And before I start doing that, I want to share, no, I'll do this and then I'll do that, and then I'll end with them. Okay, cool. Good, we work that out. Okay, what I want to say is, let's see here. So, for one, the internet is so important to be utilizing right now, and in general, just for things that will help you grow in life. And I'm talking like, you know, your internal growing, your outer world growing, your circle, your energy, like wherever you can be growing or taking in knowledge, like enjoy that space and really soak it up, right? I talked last in the video too, and this one about YouTube. I really appreciate, because you can really deep dive into tons of topics. Gosh, I am so surprised how deep I got into ancient history, and just learning stuff like, you know, I love the Bible, super good with that, but man, there's so much stuff that happened even way before that ties it all together. So there's so much that we can enjoy soaking and learning from others. Robert Sepehr is one, and I might be saying it wrong, but you'll find him. He does the ancient, I'll post links in the bottom because I think it's that important. He does a lot of great work about ancient history and just really surprising things. If you are looking for like, okay, I've mentioned like Christopher Watecki. He has SiriusJoy.com, which is also, he does a free weekly show that's Namaste Today. I have watched him ever since I live in Bellingham. Sometimes I weave in and out, but he's always kind of, you know, the one guy over here that I've always had to just kind of dig deep in the feelings of the astrological transits and like the degrees of what the planets mean and stuff. So I do really enjoy him, and he's very nurturing too, so very much so of guiding you on how you feel. So appreciative of his energy and time, all the work that he does. Namaste, Mr. Watecki. We have a favorite that I've just recently discovered. Her name is Teal Swan. She has hours and hours and years of, I mean, she's pretty much therapy for free. I mean, I've been like, she doesn't know me, I don't know her, whatever. I love the anonymity of watching stuff, and learning and taking in, you know, what you want, and then like gracing and being thankful with your energy, and then, you know, like it's so lovely. But Teal Swan, wow. a lot about your personal inner being, actions, behaviors, traumas, all these things. Like, I'm like, whoa, like yelling at my laptop, like, what do you know? Like, in the best way, right? Because if somebody is like, when you see it, you say it, like, or even when it's goals in life on how to feel, literally, almost like if you don't see it in yourself, but you see it in somebody else, it almost helps you see it in yourself more, right? So when you can talk through these feelings or emotions or anything like that, yeah. So name dropping her again, Teal Swan, and she's got her own, she's been doing it for years, and her partner helps too sometimes, which I think is great. Speaking of partners, I'm so huge fan of Tom and Lisa Bilyeu, I believe is how you say it, but it doesn't matter. It does matter their names. I'm not trying to be rude, but what their stuff is called impact theory, and they have relationship theory, impact theory, women of impact. I hope I got it all right. They're a couple, man. I love that too, because this couple, they go deep in, like, their 20 years of marriage, and I mean, not to ruin it or anything, but like one of their biggest, like, in all that time arguments of their life was like early on, and they both were like, it was about a cup of tea, you know what I mean? But they grow through and talk through that. It's so cool to see, because all these outlets are out there, and there are people that are like, you know what? We just want to make this world a better place. We want to help you. This is what we've learned. And here's the other thing. Cherry pick what works for you. This is what I love about that. You can cherry pick. Like, I'll watch some stuff. Lisa has her own stuff that she does. And she had, just yesterday, I was watching her interview Mel Robbins. So great. And what I loved about that one was the fact that, like, Mel was on there talking about how she was so nervous to be on that show, and she didn't feel like she was, that she belonged there, was worthy of it, whatever, those are her words, right? And then Miss Lisa was like, oh, we were like so excited to have you, we want to make sure it was perfect. Like, it's so important for us to see all these different perspectives, right? Because then we can say to ourselves, well, it's not probably exactly the way that I'm feeling it right now. So where do I have room to be more open? Or where do I have room to allow? Or where should I be like, It's important to have that space. Lisa also had, and this was really great, because although I don't always like things that separate out, so like I haven't joined groups that are like women this or this or this. I really want to be for everybody, and I think that the things that we're all trying to teach each other are just as important for men and women. And I think that we've created accidentally or on purpose all these interesting stereotypes that we've put on either men or women, and then we see things, and so we're like, oh that, so much so that you've got children or kids or the new generation, or even some in our own generation, they're just not even in the mood to identify with either, because we done ruined it. And we really need to reel that back in. The same mannerisms that we're trying to instill, hopefully still, in our kids. Like, be nice, don't call people names, don't try to feel entitled, don't try to make people feel bad, don't point out flaws, don't be a turd. Be loving, be considerate. Those energies rise up. I digress. My point about that was, even though it says women of impact, I still wanted to watch, because I was like, oh, well, I don't mean like I wouldn't watch because it was women, like I'm not anti-women, but I'm also like, I want everybody to feel, and she even has dudes on the Women Impact, and I think that's important to note, because I'm not calling anybody out. All I'm saying is, wow, the Women in Impact one that I watched was so cool too. It was Miss Evie, and I'm trying not to mess up her name, but it's Pompuris, I believe. She is so bad, too. She used to be Secret Service for like the White House, so she's done way bigger, major things than that, I'm sure. Like, who knows? but just an in-depth operational kind of learning about her too, and what that's like. And I love learning from men, I have to say. Like, as much as it's so hard for, people to be like, women's done all this, men's done, we've all done all these things. And it's funny too, because if you've tried to do something more or better, then it's almost like the same sort of, like, it's in spite of, or either way, we all need each other, and we all need to kind of fill in that, right, with the gifts that the men and women bring to each other, because it's all important. I've learned so much from men in my life. Some of my greatest mentors have been men as well as women. So support, if you can, please support men and women so much together, because what you'll have there is the absolute, and when I say that, I don't mean it like, I don't mean that on a relationship terms, like, love is love, please, no, I expect that. I'm saying the male and female aspects of what you can figure that in yourself and whom you love. She'll complement each other. So I wanted to share that little part. So, okay, so Women of Impact, Miss Evie, that episode is fantastic. So many great ones, a wealth of knowledge, like, at our fingertips, right? Couple more. I've mentioned highvibe.tv, fantastic. They have a lot of ways that you can deep dive your energy, and really also too, that's David, and he goes by Liu King. He's phenomenal. A little bit rough around the edges, so if you are more on, like, the edgy, like, astrology but grittiness of it, great spot to go. He also has a free show, I believe, that he does on YouTube, but he has his own highvibe.tv, so I want to share that because he's amazing. And then I was thinking, I want to get everybody, but that's a really nice chunk. And then finally, I'm gonna end it with this one, as far as who I just recently found and have enjoyed so much, and that's Spirit Science. They've been doing this on YouTube for like 9 years. He has got they have so much with different things, chakras, energies, dimensions, history, ancient history, all these amazing things. Some stuff that's all, conspiracy or this or that you might not like, that's totally fine. But there's that special beauty of being able to cherry pick what resonates with you, what you're interested in, and then maybe the universe providing it because you're out there seeking it to better yourself and others, and it comes to you that way, right? So I want to share this one in particular. I loved Spirit Science because it was short, like 13 to 15 minute videos, and they even did like a cartoon overlay too, so I don't feel like I'm like so connected to one person and their energy, and more like the separation of them versus the message, right? Sorry, I don't have my own avatar yet. You're not talking to Madison. Okay, so with that, I learned lots of different little breathing things and what have you, but my favorite, and this is the one that really, about a week and a half, because I'm always looking at different ways to like tap into my inner self, to grow, to learn, to feel like my energy is really just coming from that super loving space and offering that to others. And so that's what I always am striving for. But sometimes, especially when you're just digging deep and like you're just like, what? So I'm always looking for my own way to calm, center, and breathe. And this one kicked my booty in the best way. I got it from Spirit Science, and I think it was, I don't remember which one it was, of course, but it was all about the breathing, and it says you can get to that meditative state you count down, breathe with your breath, and you count down from 100, and then after that 100 you count down again from 30. So basically you should be able to get in this meditative potential state in like 90 seconds, right? No. It depends. The first time I tried it, it took me 35 minutes. By number 97, I had like one of the biggest epiphanies ever. I completely figured out my entire problem, which I know now I'm not telling anybody, but it's my own problem. I got it. My entire problem was just like my ego portion of my aspects and what affects me and why I have blockers. But I think that was like, holy crap, right? When you feel that shift moment, it's important to acknowledge it and what you were doing when you were doing that. Well, I was at 97 and my inner being was like, this is what you want to know. So it's really cool. And then I actually had to start over a couple times because it kept coming at me, and so I kept having to like process that, and then I got through. I think that's just so amazing. I practiced again later that night before bed. I was like, hey, let me get comfortable and try it again. I think I got to this, I fell asleep, but that's how much I had cleared out of my energetics, inner space, trying to tell me was that much, and that's why it was nagging and I couldn't get past it. But once it came out and I could process and acknowledge, I mean, really, it's been like ever since. So that honesty, you have to make space for it. So in this particular instance, I was just doing my normal breathing and counting down, and things would come to me and I would acknowledge, but it was the big stuff that I was asking for. So I appreciate that time, and I wouldn't have gotten that idea to do it at that particular time potentially had I not checked out this other site. We have this beautiful opportunity, like I was saying, to really just look at a lot of information to help our being. So I did name off a few of my favorites in no particular order because I love everybody so much. And I will also leave the links below so you can go there yourself and find them. And I will talk to you again soon. I really appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and thank you. Bye now.